So let's get to it. The first characteristic that the interviewer is looking for is independence. By independence, I mean you can work without supervision. Now, in my second month as a business analyst, I was moved on assignment to Calgary to help implement a technology solution to streamline their invoices within accounts payable. I was flown over to Calgary and dropped by myself at our small project management office. I was put up at the Sheraton. It was pretty cool and the fancy amenities were fun. I played a ton of golf in the summer, but the hotel lifestyle got old after about a month. My manager would fly out once in a while to get status updates, but that's about it. I did very well in that situation, but as you can see, I had very little supervision and was essentially on my own. I was just told that this is the technology we want to implement to achieve efficiency and meet these goals. Go and get requirements and conduct some business analysis from our Calgary location to make it happen, and that's about it. So when they interview you, that is what they are thinking. Can I drop you off on a project with specific deadlines, with little to no information, a considerable amount of ambiguity, and expect you to take the initiative to drive this project to completion? Can you do all those things and make your manager look good in the process? And this is really what they're after. Am I going to get screwed in the process if I hire you? Will you need to be micromanaged and told what to do, or are you going to take the initiative to ask questions and do what is required to move the project forward with little to no supervision? From a personal note, I have several business analysts that report to me, and I tell them all the time, I don't know what you should be doing. I can't tell you what to do all the time. You need to assess the project requirements and take the initiative to come to me to help move the project forward. Just last week, Ali, a business analyst I hired a few months ago, came into my office and said, Andy, I think that the functional spec document is a bit weak in this area, and I want to spend some time with technology to look it over. All this is going to impact the traceability matrix we did in November. What do you think about that? When my business analyst comes and tells me something like that, I know I made the right hiring decision. Being a business analyst is about working in a team towards a goal that requires project completion. But more importantly, it is about being independent and taking initiative to solve problems. This leads me to the second characteristic business analyst interviewers are looking for, and that is interactive acumen. Interactive acumen is a concept about your communication skills, and it consists of two parts. The first part is, do you know how to communicate to different types of people? And second, are you stakeholder friendly? When you are hired as a business analyst, you will be communicating with different departments and different kinds of people. For example, the way you communicate with technology would be different from the way you communicate with the accounting department. The interviewer is looking to answer 3 questions. 1. Do you know how to get your ideas across? 2. Do you know how to communicate without getting distracted or going on different tangents? And 3. Finally, can you communicate relevant information in a succinct and concise manner? The interviewer is evaluating your communication skills while you are answering the questions. Therefore, keep your answers concise and to the point. As a BA, you not only need to know how to communicate to different types of people, but you also must know how to communicate your ideas in a stakeholder-friendly way. Being stakeholder-friendly means that you communicate in a manner that is diplomatic, friendly, goal-driven, without making anyone feel stupid. I've been in numerous situations where I know I'm right. For example, in a meeting I noticed that a stakeholder should implement a customized solution to their problem. Or the process flow diagram that the technology consultant just drew up is undeniably incorrect. Or the project manager clearly does not fully understand the scope of the project. However, it's not about the fact that I'm right and they are wrong. Nothing matters if I say that in a way that is not stakeholder friendly. I'll say it again. Nothing matters if I say that in a way that is not stakeholder friendly. If I communicate in a manner that makes the other party feel stupid, then it creates animosity, resentment, and will prevent the person from communicating. I've seen this firsthand. The lack of communication when you are working on a large project can literally kill the project. And there are a lot of successful analysts, managers, and CEOs who are very right in their judgment and decision making, but would make lousy business analysts. A lot of them are very successful in their careers, but they would make lousy business analysts simply because they don't know how to communicate in a stakeholder-friendly manner. So, how you go about communicating matters a lot. The last thing an interviewer wants is to hire a business analyst that does not know how to be stakeholder-friendly. It just disrupts the project, hurts people's egos, and literally kills the deliverables. And so, business analyst interviewers look for this. They look for whether or not the way you approached your previous projects in a stakeholder-friendly manner. Even if you are right in your ideas, and without your idea the project would have suffered a $20 million loss. If you cannot communicate in a stakeholder-friendly way, then they cannot hire you. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not smart. It doesn't mean that you're not a good analyst. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be extremely successful, but you just can't be a business analyst if you can't do things in a stakeholder-friendly way. The third characteristic the interviewer is looking for is, are you someone who is engaging and has a winning attitude? This will come up in questions that ask about your project management experience where something went wrong, or a time when you were stressed, fatigued, or there was a conflict with someone on your team and how you handled it. We all know that as business analysts, we have a unique job. We have to persuade people to take the time to work on activities that are often not their main priority. In a perfect world, we would have stakeholders easily commit their full attention in helping us with requirements gathering, elicitation, validation, and creating use cases. But then again, that would be a perfect world. Business analysts learn very quickly that if we want to get things done, then we will have to persuade, cajole, and drive the project to completion. This process is a whole lot easier if the business analyst has a winning attitude. A great business analyst makes you want to work with them, even if you're the president of operations and they need you to help identify metrics for the database upgrade. Moreover, a business analyst must have the ability to communicate the value of a project with passion and conviction that will pull people in without resistance and excuses. Instead, you will want to be involved and say, okay, this is going to save us money and time in the future. What can I do to help? Hiring a business analyst with a winning attitude is the key to bringing everyone to the table to achieve project milestones in a very short period of time. Therefore, it's no surprise that the interviewer is looking for this characteristic during the interview. But how does the interviewer discover if you have a winning attitude and are engaging? Well, I go into much more detail in my prep course, Cracking the Business Analyst Interview, but in a nutshell, they will ask questions that ask about an example of how you brought your team members together to complete a certain aspect of a project, or a time when you were in a conflict with someone and what you did to resolve it. These answers to these questions demonstrate your ability to have a winning attitude even in the face of conflicts, and that you can engage others on projects that can be mundane or boring. Another technique interviewers will use is they will look through your resume and identify two projects, one that looks mundane and boring and one that looks fun and exciting. They will then ask you to talk about the mundane and boring project, followed up with a similar question about the project that looks fun and exciting. They will analyze both responses, and if they feel they want to hear more, it means that you know how to describe projects in an engaging manner, even if the project you worked on was boring. Okay, let's pause here for a second and let me just summarize what we've learned so far. We learned that the first characteristic the business analyst interviewer is looking for is independence. Independence means, do you have the capacity to work independently with minimal supervision? I gave an example of my first assignment as a business analyst where I was dropped off alone in Calgary and how I had to take the initiative to understand what needs to be done without constantly phoning my manager and asking what to do. More specifically, I stated that when they interview you,